Ladies and gentlemen, the following is another outstanding episode of the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. In one corner, we have the greatest thing on God's green earth. No, we're not talking about money, Mary Jane, or Popeye spinach. He's the Tranquil Dart of Ringside Society and Delaware's greatest American hero. It takes two to make a thing go right. He's Rob Bass, and you are not. And in the second corner, we have that ocean crossing, straight up Boston, flight catching, shot glass snatching, always on the go. Catch him if you can. Said his name in Guyana. Now they love him in Japan. No cap, the worldwide star boy, Remy Blue. And our special guest tonight is a woman who has faced opponents the likes of Brandy Rhodes, Holiday, Dr. Britt Baker. I almost got her name wrong. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and many others. And she is currently the reigning GWA Women's Champion and a member of the Nightmare Factory. No, the Nightmare Family. Everybody, welcome to the show, the Queen of Crazy, Kilynn King.
What is up, you guys?
Kilynn, thank you very much for giving this opportunity. We really and truly appreciate it. We always enjoy talking to our guests, whether it's a professional wrestler or a referee or a promoter. We always enjoy talking to everybody because we feel like, everybody has a story to tell and so on. And so we were very excited when, you actually agreed to be on our show. Actually, shout out to Marcello for making this happen. Marcello CCW, hashtag shameless plug, hashtag important plug. If you are in Delaware or any of the surrounding areas, make sure you check out CCW's Battle for the Throne or Battle of the Throne this Saturday, November 6th in Houston, Delaware. It'll be amazing. History is going to be made. The first ever CCW champion is going to be crowned, and the first ever CCW tag team champions will be crowned there as well too. And you'll see a lot of stars like Kilynn King right here as well doing battles, so you don't want to miss it. If you can't make it, well, guess what? There's also a title match. So make sure you actually, check it out online as well. It'll be a great event to watch, history making, as CCW is one of the top promotions in the Northeast. They're going to be doing big things real soon. But
Hell yeah.
with that being said, Kilynn, how you doing today?
I'm pretty good. How about you guys?
Just here November 1st. Weather's
Yeah,
getting a bit
right?
colder here in New York. I don't know about Delaware where Rob is at, but it's definitely getting cold up here.
Actually, it was a little bit chilly today here too in Florida. I know that's kind of like people will scoff or laugh at that, but it was a little chilly this morning. So I feel you.
I almost had
Yeah,
to turn the heat on this morning. It was like getting down to 30. My dogs, they were
Ooh,
like, lift that comforter up. We getting under there with you. Yeah, we need to get
yeah.
warm.
Yeah, but cuddling with the dogs when it's cold out is perfect because they're even warmer than we are. So
That's right. Hey, if you hear background noise, it's them running up and down my hallway like a thundering herd of buffalo. You know, the girls are going crazy right now. So
I made mine stay outside for this because he likes to jump up on the bed when I'm having interviews and shakes the whole thing. So
oh, cool, cool.
yeah.
I don't have no dogs yet, but I've had experiences in owning them, and I had a Rottweiler Doberman mix, and oh geez, he was a handful. Like I was like,
Yeah.
geez, what am I gonna do with you?
Yep.
Yeah. So tell us, CCW, are you excited? You're going against Christy James,
I'm super
and
excited. Yeah.
yeah, you
Um,
you two you two have met before, actually.
say that again.
You two have actually met before.
Yeah, so I first met her when we were working in AEW. I ran into her a couple times, and then we eventually got to wrestle each other, which was really fun. Unfortunately, she didn't beat me in the fairest circumstances, so that was a little iffy. So we're gonna deal with that when I see her this weekend. But it's all good, not not forgotten. So we'll address that on the weekend. But yeah, no, CCW is coming this Saturday. It's a really cool opportunity for a lot of female wrestlers to get showcased. The really cool thing about the past year and a half is there's a lot of women's promotions that have been popping up, and CCW is one of them. And it's just been giving the wrestling community an opportunity to be introduced to a lot of female wrestlers that they might have kind of known about, but really hadn't seen a lot of stuff from. And I'm really excited to be a part of another female promotion. You know, it's really cool seeing them all pop up, and then slowly one by one getting an opportunity to work with them. It's a way to represent. You know, I'm a big believer in women supporting women. So the fact that we get to have a bunch of shows like these now, where we all get to come together and try to put on the best damn show possible, it's exactly what I've always wanted to do. So I'm very excited for the opportunity to do that with CCW this weekend.
Yeah, we're definitely looking forward to seeing you chop it up in the ring and whatnot, especially given your history where you've actually faced many opponents like the ones I mentioned earlier. We definitely know that it'll be interesting to see how the secondary, because that was back then when you were pretty much now starting out, if I'm not mistaken. But now that you have the experience, you've even rubbed shoulders with people like Red Velvet and Big Swole. So
Yeah.
it's only it's I think I have a feeling that Christy is going to be in for a surprise when she steps in the ring this Saturday with you for that
I
match.
I mean, I'm not coming in unprepared. I know Christy's been out there busting her butt too, and you know, as wrestlers, we're always constantly learning and evolving. And I've been fortunate enough that in the past year and a half, I've gotten to learn and evolve with some of the greatest names in the business. So I definitely think that the way Christy and I interact with each other is going to be quite different from the first time. We both have a lot more experience under our belt. We've had a lot more matches, and we've grown in not only our in-ring abilities, but our desire to want it more. You know what I'm saying? So I know my passion and my love for wrestling is a lot more intense than it's ever been before in my career. And that's what I put into every single one of my matches. So I don't think she's ready for that energy that I'm about to throw at her. So it's definitely going to be a hell of a battle for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm going to take a bit of a time traveling trip back, and I just got to ask you if you've heard this before. I know you've done other podcasts, but and you probably had somebody ask you, but what was the how'd you become a fan of the sport? Like, what was the event or the pay-per-view, or who was that one relative that dragged you in and said, "Hey, Kilynn, check this out. I think you're gonna like this." How did it all start for you?
My journey into pro wrestling started when I was pretty young. I have five brothers, and growing up, my brother Lucas was a huge wrestling fan, and my parents weren't crazy about it. They were very conservative, so they weren't crazy about because like when we started watching wrestling, it was the Attitude Era, so there was a lot of stuff going on TV that parents didn't necessarily want young children watching. So my brother used to give little VHS tapes to our buddy, and he would like record like the weekly episodes or the pay-per-views and stuff for us. And then like when my parents were out of the house, we would watch it. Um, and I just remember like my brothers and I would never be sitting still. We would never get along. We were loud as hell. We raised ruckus all day. But as soon as wrestling got on the TV, we all sat still. We shut up, and we were mesmerized by what we were watching. And I just remember thinking during one of those moments that like I want to do this. Now, granted, like I said, my parents weren't a big fan of it, so I kind of kept that thought to myself for a very long time. And then when I was about 18, I was still like it was the thought of wanting to be a wrestler was still in my head, and I couldn't shake it. So, but I was still kind of scared to take that step because still living with the parents and still relying on them and wanting to respect their wishes and stuff like that. So I started getting into martial arts. I did martial arts for about 6 years. And then I did like growing up in theater, or I'm sorry, growing up in high school and stuff, I did a lot of theater and dance and stuff. And so at some point after I started doing the martial arts, I think I might have been like 23, 24. Um, if I was just like, I was sitting in the middle of a college lecture, and I don't necessarily, I might have been Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, like when their rivalry first started and they had one of their first big pay-per-view matches and stuff. I just remember like the next day I was in class and I was sitting at my desk and I was shaking and I had so much anxiety because all I could think about was wrestling. And I just got like the idea of not pursuing it just gave me this wave of depression. And I was just like, I can't sit here and daydream about this anymore. I've got to make this a reality. And as soon as I had that conversation with myself in my head, I went home later on that day. I told my mom and dad, I said, hey, look, I don't want to be in school anymore. I'm going to get a couple jobs. I'm going to save up and I'm going to become a professional wrestler. And dad was kind of okay with it. Mom wasn't crazy about it. It took a long time for her to come around to it, but she's definitely a fan, or becoming more of a fan now. Uh, so yeah, I worked like three different jobs. I saved up for like a year and then I moved to Florida, found Team 3D Academy, and the rest is history. So it's crazy because like it took a very long time for me to finally get into it, but I also think that it was kind of meant to be because I don't know mentally if I would have had the stamina to go through all the training and the trials and tribulations that wrestling puts you through at a younger age as opposed to when I started. Because by the time I started, like it was, this is all I want kind of mentality. So no matter how hard it got, I had that in my brain, like this is all I want. And so it pushed me through everything. So sometimes I get sad and wish I had started a little bit younger, but at the same time I'm like, no, I had to start when I started because otherwise I wouldn't find myself in the success that I am today. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of a little tidbit of the journey. There's a lot more details to it, but that's essentially how it happened.
Yeah. Like every like I've heard, time and time again throughout my lifetime, everything happens all in due time,
Yep.
and at least you're there right now. I mean, you're getting the exposure on TV, you're
Yeah,
battling
yeah.
some of the hottest names in professional wrestling, and you're allied with some of the, I mean, Cody Rhodes, like
Yeah.
the Nightmare Family, like, yeah, I mean, hey, you just pretty much, where you want to be. And
Yeah.
yeah, and I also like the fact that you have a pretty impressive when you come out here, when you have the like the
My stripe.
the liner across.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, I was like, oh, he means business. Like
Yes.
normally when I see somebody with like a line of paint going across both their eyes, that means it's time for war. That means it's
Time for
time for
war.
business. And yeah, it's about to be intense.
Somebody actually asked me
Yeah.
about that recently, like why I decided to start doing that. And I had a very, what I thought was a very good answer for them because in real life, not to say that like in real life, I'm a very easygoing, friendly person. I've always had the mentality, get along with everybody unless they give you a reason not to. And so, but in the ring, you got to be a little selfish. You want to win, you want to succeed, you want to get people to pay attention and start taking you seriously. So when I came out, I think people could easily see that, like I was an easygoing person. And I realized that I needed to have some kind of gear switch for when I came out. And I feel like a lot of people, like you look at all the, you know, pictures from history or movies about history, people in battle always have some kind of thing on their face because it's like their gear switch and how they get into battle mode. And I said, you want to know what? That's what I need to do. I need to have a gear switch that lets people know, like, yeah, I'm easygoing, but this stuff's on now, which means you're about to get your ass kicked. So I thought that was a cool little transition. And then, and people started to react to it really well. They were like, oh my gosh, like she's a warrior. And that's exactly the reaction I wanted. So I'm still playing with it. Sometimes I mix it up and I do a different design or I add like gems in it to make it a little bit more gaudy and stuff like that. And it's fun. It's like experimenting every single show. So, oh, I think you guys got
Oh, you're
muted.
on mute. Yeah, you're on mute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I
There
tend
we
to do
go.
that.
There we go. No, no, you're good. You're
Yeah.
good.
Experimentation is always a good thing. And it's always, sometimes you never know, like even just like accidentally saying something, or something actually happening, that could always, that one mistake, you could probably turn into something that's part of an evolution in terms of who you are and so on. Like for example, believe it or not, Michael Jackson, from what I heard, the whole one glove thing was because he didn't have another glove. So he made
Oh,
that pretty much a style, a fad back then. So yeah.
and he became an icon, man. He became an icon.
Oh yeah. And I don't know how far back you. I don't know if you ever. Well, I don't know if you were watching wrestling back in like from like the '80s, but Kevin Von Erich, there was a rib that was played where they hit his boots, and lo and behold, he had to wrestle barefoot, and that ended up becoming a trademark for him.
Oh, I
So
didn't
yeah,
know that's how that came about. That's really cool.
yeah, yeah. They pulled a rib and they hit his boots, and he was like, okay, I guess I got to wrestle barefoot, and
The
there it
job still needs
goes.
to get done, so I'm gonna go out to the ring barefoot. I mean that, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So so AEW, your first match there, what was it like? Like, what was going through your mind? Were you like nervous? Oh God, I'm on AEW. Everybody around the world is watching, or were you like, you know, something? I've had enough training. I got this, or was it a mixture of both?
Um, the first time I was at AEW, it was honestly a very last minute thing. When COVID hit, I never hit anybody up there about getting extra work because I wasn't sure what was going on with them. And my trainer, one of my old trainers, Billy Gunn, by the way, happy birthday, Billy. He he worked there, and I knew I could ask him, but I didn't want to be one of those people who bugged him about that. So I never hit him up. And then I want to say it was like the first or second week of May. He like randomly messaged me and was like, "Hey man, why haven't you tried to contact me and get work here? I know you're in Florida, so it's an easy drive for you." And I said, I didn't want to be one of those people and uh, ask a favor of you when you've got so much going on. And he's like, "No, no, no, no." He's like, "Get here. I want them to see you." So it was very, like I said, it was very last minute. I only had a few days to like get my stuff together and get there. Uh, and I wasn't expecting anything out of it. I was like, oh, it's just one of those things where you show up and you let them see your face, and then hopefully it leads to something down the road. But then when I got there, my name was already on the board. They were like, yeah, you're gonna wrestle Penelope, and I was like, oh, this is great. Um, Honestly, I was pretty nervous, just because like mainly because I hadn't wrestled in like a month because COVID had happened and all my bookings were canceled, and I didn't have a school to train at the time. So I hadn't wrestled in a month, and it was like that terrifying feeling like, do I remember how to do this? So I went in there and I was like, thankfully though, Penelope was amazing to work with. It was super, super easy to put that match together. Um, and I was just really excited for the opportunity. I mean, once it's one of those things where you're nervous no matter where you go, but then as soon as you walk through the curtain, it's like muscle memory. You do the job. So yeah, but I guess I did a good job because they've been bringing me back ever since, and it's been a really cool journey. I think you guys got muted again. Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely are doing something great, because I mean, come on, you're part of. They announced. I saw the article where they said you are actually a part. The Nightmare Family adds 2 new members, and you were one of them. So you're definitely doing something
Yeah.
great and whatnot. So hey, just keep it up, and just keep on doing what you do. I think you're phenomenal in the ring, and I definitely see star quality as well.
Thank you,
So
man.
yeah, definitely,
Yeah, the, the
just
thing
keep.
with the thing with the Nightmare Family was kind of crazy. I was coming up on my 1 year anniversary with AEW, and Cody just pulled me aside and he's like, "Hey man, what's the end game? What's your goals?" And we had a nice little conversation. And then a few months later, or not even a few months, a few weeks later, Sammy hit me up and was like, "Hey, we want to include you on the vlog. We're gonna do this stuff." And then of course that led to the Nightmare Family. So I don't know what Cody saw something in me and he wanted to invest his time in me, but I'm forever grateful because he's helped me out a lot, and he's given him and Dustin have both given me a lot of guidance and tutelage, and it's helped me tremendously.
Yeah, Cody and Dustin, they're doing a lot of great for the wrestling community, like the whole Rhodes family, because now even with AEW Dark, look at the amount of people that have gotten exposure
Hmm.
that I myself have seen. Like my Facebook page, one of like my personal Facebook page has not like it's like probably say 80% wrestlers. And then when I see on AEW Dark, oh, this person's, they have a match. And I'm like, wait a minute, I know that guy or I know that girl. I just
Yeah,
had them off. I had them on Facebook. Wow, congrats. And to me, that AEW, it's like stuff, AEW, not just Dynamite, but Dark and Dark Elevation, they
yeah,
actually heighten morale, which is a good thing because you've been watching it long enough. Y'all both, and you too, Rob. I mean, 10 years ago, 11 years ago, if a certain promotion, WWE, and this is not against them. If you weren't in WWE, you weren't pretty much anything. And I mean, that was pretty much the end all be all. A couple
Hmm.
people, one or two people got exposure, but it wasn't like to the extent of how AEW is doing it, where every other week you see a new face that's honing their craft and
Yeah,
on the grind on the indie circuit. So the fact that they actually have that platform, and now you're
absolutely.
thinking, I don't have to just go to WWE. I can get some shine on AEW. And even as a whole, now you have Impact Wrestling doing it. You have all these other promotions popping up, GCW, and so on. It's a great it's a great morale booster for everybody involved. And of course, at the end of the day, the fans win too because you get to see a lot more.
It's a very incredible and smart formula that AEW is doing because with Elevation and Dark and constantly circulating all these indie wrestlers, it's bringing more attention to indie wrestling. Because you mentioned GCW. GCW has a phenomenal formula too. They have a main roster, and then they circulate other people who are busting their butts on the indies and start, slowly adding people. So the thing with all of that is most people until they get into wrestling, they don't really know about indie wrestling. You know what I'm saying? Like most people just know WWE. So in the past couple of years, with them exposing all these indie wrestlers through Elevation and Dark, it's given people more enlightenment about the indie wrestling. And now you go on YouTube and you find so much more stuff, and people who like wrestling but can't necessarily afford going to one of these uh, company shows, like they start investigating and learning more about indie wrestling and then popping up at shows nearby them. So I know, um, like even some of my friends who are not wrestling fans, because they've seen my stuff on AEW and because they've seen other people that have worked there, and they go on YouTube and they look these people up because they're like, oh, they had a really good match. I wonder what other kind of stuff they've done. And then all of a sudden, they're way more educated about independent wrestling than they ever were before. So it's very, very cool to see how that's all coming around and like just making the public more knowledgeable about all that, you know? Oh, you got muted
Right,
again.
right, definitely. Yeah, yeah, I saw it. So I just have
Okay,
like
just want to
two
make sure.
more questions because I know two or three more questions. 'Cause I know Rob is chomping at the bit to ask you. So the moniker, the Queen of Crazy. Now I would say when I see you, I see intensity and I see like
Well, that's
somebody
actually
that's motivated.
it's actually
But
not my
yeah,
moniker anymore.
oh, it's not?
No, that was my old moniker back in like between like 2018 and like right before 2020. That was when I first started wrestling, and I was doing this whole crazy gimmick, and I wore like shorts and a sports bra and Converse shoes. Like, actually, my new moniker is the King of Professional Wrestling, aka the Majesty of Muscles.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
CageMatch.net, y'all heard. Change that moniker. Because I saw
Is,
it on
is are they
CageMatch.net.
Are they the reason people still call me the Queen? I mean, I don't mind it when people call me the Queen of Crazy because it was my moniker for like two some years, and it was fun. People enjoyed it, but I was like, I feel bad because I'll go to shows sometimes, and people will just go off of what they read online and not come up to me, and then like I'll come out and they'll call me the Queen of Crazy, and I'm like, no, I'm the king of professional wrestling now. Crap, I should have told them.
Yeah, yeah. They still have it as Queen of Crazy, but there's still a pretty good website and whatnot. I
I
I
gotcha.
recommend it to anybody and
Oh yeah,
so
yeah.
on. But yeah, when I saw you, I was like, Queen of Crazy. She doesn't look like she's a. I mean, she looks intense. She
Yes.
looks serious. She has
And
the
that was
heart of a
part,
warrior, but
and
she doesn't look like.
yeah, and that was part of the reason I changed it because I just felt like it was fun, but it wasn't genuinely me. Like I was starting to change and evolve into more of like a warrior character, and so like I hesitated to change it because it had started catching on and people were calling me it like everywhere I went. They're like, "Oh, the Queen of Crazy." But at the same time, I'm like, I don't feel like it's working anymore. And when you don't feel something, when it doesn't feel genuine to you, you can't hold on to it just for other people's sake. So, um, in real life, my last name is King. So I kept that in wrestling because I thought that was very powerful. Um, and at one point, I was just in my head, I'm like, why am I calling myself the Queen of Crazy when I literally have the last name King? And I'm wrestling in an era where we're pushing for women's wrestling to have equality. I was like, so I'm gonna just start calling myself the King, the mother effing King. So I started doing that, and now it's a whole another statement. It's a whole another story to tell people. So
Wow, I could imagine if I like that the Kings. For some reason, when you just said it, you're probably gonna laugh at this, but I just got a whole like vision of you, or as Matt Hardy, I guess would probably call it a premonition of you and Becky Lynch having a face off, and Becky Lynch is like, "Why
oh,
don't you know your place? Because the man is in the building right
oh,
now, and the
true,
man's in the ring."
yeah,
I can imagine you saying, "You're a man? You're the man? Well, I'm the king." And the king tells you either to bow down or bow out. I just had a vision like that just now.
nice.
But
Yeah,
yeah, who knows?
the whole symbolism of the king is you know, a lot of women call themselves the queen in wrestling, the queen of this, the queen of that. And I just I wanted to set a standard, you know, like I always aim to be one of the best female wrestlers in the world. And so, you know, like yeah, I could call myself the queen because I'm a woman, but but the universe ended up giving me the name king, and I think they gave me the name king for a reason because I'm eventually going to be the standard of women's professional wrestling. So I think that's a powerful statement. It's a symbolism for equality, and it sets a standard for the wrestling abilities that I want myself to have, and hopefully that will be set for everybody else in the future. Oh, my leg got stuck. Ah, there we go. I think you're muted. Yeah.
You on mute?
I gotta stop. I gotta stop doing that.
I think
But
every
yeah,
single time I talk, it mutes you guys. It's weird.
yeah. Well, so for some reason, I tend to get echoes on my end. So for equality's sake, and whatever other platform that we put this interview on, I just want to make sure people don't have echoes and whatnot. So yeah. So my, I guess my last question is, when you're working out or when you're getting pumped for your next match, what are some songs that get you into that zone, that gets you into
Ooh,
beast mode to go either
yeah.
kill those workouts, kill those reps, or deal with your opponent quickly and establish dominance and have them put respect on your name?
Um, my music taste is very weird. I I love everything, but recently, um, my go-tos, I don't know if you know who NF is. He's a rapper. His songs are like so dramatic, and a lot of the time his lyrics are about like people underestimating him and him being one of the most underestimated rappers in the game. And I love his lyric writing. I think it's very, very dope. And he's got very, like I said, he's got very dramatic like beats that make you feel almost like it's the comeback part in a movie. So I always love, love, love that. I've been listening to a lot of Childish Gambino, all of his popular stuff, and all the weird stuff that nobody knows about. Uh, what else? I find myself like I'll look up I'll look up like random things like I don't want to say it's dubstep because it's not. Um, it's like fantasy dubstep kind of stuff, so it kind of has like that dramatic video game music to it. I like stuff that makes me feel like I'm in an action movie, like fighting back. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that explains it very well. Um, Sometimes I get out of that and I'll listen to a lot of rock. Like I love In This Moment. I love working out to them too. But like I said, I have very weird music taste, so it changes. I think it depends on my mood too, like how life is going and all that stuff too, and what I need to inspire me. But a lot of the stuff that I listen to lately is rap, and I listen to a lot of Eminem too.
Trust me, I don't think I, I don't think you could get any weirder than I could, because
No,
or
no.
if you are, maybe you're as weird as I am, because like when I work out, I have like one minute I have like Hollywood Undead,
Oh, I love
Seven
Hollywood
Dust.
Undead. Yeah.
Yeah, don't judge me. If for those of y'all that are
Nah.
listening, don't judge me. I work out to that. I have issues. Just kidding. But
No,
yeah,
they got some dope stuff,
Hollywood
man.
Undead. Yeah. There was one that I think his name was Do Shade. He had one called I Came to Party with him and Travis McCoy from Gym Class Heroes. I used to work out to that. So a
Yeah.
little bit of Cardi Ray Jepsen. That's how weird it is. Like I could go from that to some Donna Summer and one or two wrestling themes, like God's wrestling theme that they had. I don't know what the actual thing is, but it starts with like a helicopter and it says they've landed, and it's a really good theme to work out to.
Oh, hell yeah.
Hey, I one time I used to work, this is the funny part, I used to work out to American Hulk Hogan at one point.
You
That
started getting
was
all staticky.
yeah. I used to work out to Real American by Hulk Hogan at one point, and it's just different types of artists that there's no one particular genre that I listen to. It's whatever is upbeat and puts me in that zone.
Gets you hype.
Yeah. Yeah, but music is definitely a wonderful thing when you're working out.
Oh,
Rob,
yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and turn over to Rob. I know Rob has some questions for you. So Rob, go ahead, man. The floor is yours.
All right, sweet. Thanks, Remy. So what's going on? How's your day been today?
It's been pretty good, man.
Oh yeah, that's good. Do anything anything adventurous today, or just kind of normal day? Doing the thing.
Just kind of a normal day. Woke my butt up and took myself to the gym, got my training in, and then I came home and now I'm here with you guys.
Well, word up. Sounds like a good day to me.
Absolutely.
That's right. So I did want to talk about on Saturday and stuff. You're wrestling Christy James and stuff or whatever and all, and that match is going to be a great match and stuff. Now,
Oh, hell yeah.
whoever yeah, I think you're going to get that match. Yeah, and all that, but Max the Impaler. Now they are on the other side of your bracket, and man, if you can get
Mm.
back past them, I'm thinking, you two, in the final four, whatever, you're going all the way, 'cause that's the match right there. Whew.
Look, I'm gonna tell you, Max has been impressive as hell. Max has done incredible work on Ring of Honor, and I've had the pleasure of seeing Max at a bunch of shows. Big fan. And quite honestly, I love my big girls in wrestling. And I've had the pleasure recently of having a lot of big girl matches. And there's nothing that makes me happier than, getting in each other's faces, showing our intensity, and just beating the living crap out of each other. I like my fancy wrestling, but I also like my brawls and my very like Japanese style, like just fighting for dominance kind of thing. So if we were able to move up to the brackets and I could get that match, oh, that's going to be one hell of a show.
Oh yes, yeah. I actually, I'm refing for the guys side, the one CW and all that, so I'll be there. But I'm definitely gonna be watching y'all on the monitor in the back. I'm gonna be like, "Woo, look at that! Oh man!" Because I was watching
Right?
your matches and stuff, and I was gonna ask, like, did you do martial arts? Or were you a dancer? Because the way you move in the ring, and then you answered and stuff, like, yeah, that's right. So,
Both.
what kind of martial
Both.
arts were you doing? Yeah, what kind of
I
martial
did
arts were you into?
I did a style called Kwamukan Karate. I studied at a dojo called the Cleveland Kwamukan Academy with Larry Feldman. And I trained with him for 6 years. So I did that. And within our dojo, we also did judo and jiu-jitsu and a style called kabuto, which is weapons training. So I learned how to work with like the bow staff and the sais and even nunchucks at one point. Uh, so that was a big part of my life for about 6 years. And in between all of that, I also, like you said, I did dance. I always knew like I wanted to be a wrestler, but when I was still kind of in denial of making that happen, I knew I wanted to learn and grow about entertainment. So I threw myself into pretty much everything that had to do with entertainment, so theater, dance. And when I started to do martial arts, I wanted to get better balance. So I started taking even more dance then because I wanted to learn how to control my body better, how to use my core, and how to just have better control of myself and footwork. So I did a lot of that, and then, like I said, eventually that all finally pushed me to finally becoming a pro wrestler. So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so yeah, you ended up, yeah, like you say, you trained with like the Dudleys and stuff. They trained you,
Yes.
and then Mr. Ash, Billy Gunn. Man, oh man,
Yeah.
that's awesome. So what was it like first day in training? I mean, were you like, hitting the ropes? Was it exciting? Were you like, oh, I am so excited, doing this? And were you ready? When
Yeah.
they're like, do your bumps, were you like, oh, I'm ready to take this bump. I'm ready to do this.
The training at Team 3D was absolutely incredible. Um, they have a very rigid and hardcore program that absolutely prepares you for the wrestling world. The first day I ever went to the school, who did I meet? I think I met Bubba first. And I remember I wasn't officially signed up yet, so he pulled me into the office. He like kind of interviewed me. We had a conversation, and then he started asking me questions like to make sure I was serious. And he gave me the rundown. He said, he's like, you gotta look. He's like, I can tell you're athletic and you're strong. He's like, but this is what it takes to be a pro wrestler. This is what you need, and this is what you want, or this is what you should need and want. And this is the formula you have to follow. And Bubba is very straightforward and honest with you. Like he's not gonna bullshit you at all because he wants you, no matter like what decision you make, he wants to make sure that you invest your money correctly and that you're going to get what you're looking for. And it was just the best experience. I definitely miss training there sometimes, but yeah, and Devon, he always preached. I loved when he would come in and he would run spots with us, and we would have matches in front of him, and then he would preach to us and he would remind us what we're working for and what the end goal is. And then of course Billy, Billy's just intense and fun. I actually give a lot of credit to Billy because he came in during a time where my brain was trying to figure out, like, I had learned all the moves, but my brain was still trying to figure out how to make it natural and how to be relaxed and calm with it. And the just the way, sometimes people can say something to you over and over and over again, but it's somebody has to say it to you a particular way for your brain to be like, oh. And his methodology was what my brain needed to finally be like, oh. So a lot of my wrestling confidence stems from him and just the way he trained me and got me. And then of course when I got to AEW and I was able to start training with Dustin, that took me even further. So it's a cool list of people that I've gotten to train with. And of course Gangrel, I've been training under him for like the last 2 years now.
Woo.
Uh, Over at Gangrel's Wrestling Asylum. Yeah, or I'm sorry, we're actually officially with CCW now, the other CCW.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, so it's really really cool training with him and seeing his methods and approaches as well.
Now, this Gangrel, does he still have the vampire teeth, or did he get them taken out or whatever? I heard he might have gotten them shorter or something, but does he still have
I
them? He still
mean,
got the fangs?
he still has them. Yeah, I see him every
Okay,
single time we're at a show together. He's banging and banging, man. He's banging and
that's
banging.
right. That's right. I wish I could do that. I mean, if I could do that, oh man, that is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, that man,
So,
that man is it's crazy because like he still bumps and feeds like a mother. Like I saw him, I forget who he was wrestling, but he was like mid-air taking a German from somebody and he had the biggest smile on his face. He was laughing. And I'm like, this man is crazy. This is amazing. Like he's still bumping like he's 20 years old. It was great. He's hardcore.
yeah, that. See, they like what you were saying in training and stuff. Sometimes, yeah, doing something you don't even think about it is the best thing because I'll be sitting there, like I'm
Hmm.
doing ref training. They're like, yeah, you gotta learn how to bump, run the ropes, and all this stuff. I'm like, oh, okay. And it's like, all right, we're throwing you in the corner there, and I'll be thinking too much. And then, my trainer, he'll just be like,
Yeah.
yeah, so what you do this weekend, and I'm like, and then wham, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, bam, here we go. I'm trying not to think too much in it, It's like, all right.
Right.
Now the other day we had a guest on, and we were talking about training and stuff. I was like, yeah, I'm 39 and stuff doing this and da da da. He's like 21 and stuff. He was like, man, I really commend you at your age doing this and stuff. And I was just like, hello, darkness, my old friend. I was like,
Oh
oh
no.
man, yeah, okay, it's all good. It was funny though.
He
It's
probably
one of those
didn't mean
times
it
you don't.
like that, but I
I know,
understand.
I
Like it's
know.
like, come on, man, freezing, freezing.
Yeah, yeah, it's like, man, I'm doing my thing, I'm taking the bumps. I like doing the bumps. My favorite's that banana peel bump where, like in the cartoon, like, bam, oh, what?
Yep.
Love
And
doing
age
that.
is just a number, man. It's about your spirit. It's honestly in wrestling, it's about your spirit and what you want and what you're willing to do. So
That's right.
just brush it off.
Oh
That's
yeah,
what I
yeah,
do.
yeah, yeah. I'm not going out there. I'm not putting on any matches. I'm just going out there, count to three. Count to 10. If you're out there, do the submission, ring the bell. That's it. That's all I'm trying to do.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I'm just hoping, on the sixth, I don't do too bad and I get booed out of the building. So, I'm just
Nah.
yeah, yeah. They hooked me up with the things. I should be good. I should be good. So I did see. I was doing a little research, and you were hanging out with our guest later on tonight, Ray Lynn and stuff and all, and y'all had I think you both had Mission Pro fanny packs on, or one of you did, one of did, or but whatever. But I gotta ask, is that the if you're a wrestler, do you need to have a fanny pack traveling around? Is that like go to? You know what I mean? Because almost
So
everyone I see, they always have one.
I forget who said this to me. It was a wrestler, but for the life of me, I cannot remember who it was. They told me that you're not officially a professional wrestler until you own a fanny pack.
Mm.
Now, granted, I didn't get my first fanny pack until a little bit after I started AEW. I got a fanny pack because when we were on set at tapings, we had to run them back and forth between the locker rooms so much. And I was like, I didn't want to bring like my whole bag with me, but there were certain things that I needed. And I was like, my friend was like, yo, like fanny packs are the perfect size for those little things that you need just in case, but like so you don't have to bring your whole bag. And so eventually I was just like, you know what? I was in some leather jacket store and they were having a huge sale and I found this really cute fanny pack and that's how it all started. And ever since then I haven't been able to travel anywhere without a fanny pack. It's just really convenient, man. It's like I don't know. But yeah, so apparently you cannot or you're not officially a professional wrestler until you own a fanny pack.
That's right.
So
Yeah, and after you had it and you used it, you're probably like, "What did I do before I've ever got this thing?" It's like, "What
exactly,
did I do?"
exactly. Because when the one that I bought in the leather store, I had that for like a year and a half, and then the zipper broke. And I was like,
Mm,
oh my gosh. And so I went out and I got another one. It wasn't as nice. I was very sad because it was a really nice fanny pack. But ever since then, yeah, every single time my fanny packs come out, I'm like, I need another one. They're addictive and it's fun, because then one of my favorite things to do around all my wrestling gals is like do the hip thrust thing with the fanny pack on and like let it
mm.
like thrust up and down. It's just very
Yeah.
funny. It's very funny to look at and it pops people every time. So that's like my go-to. And I did that once in a match, not with a fanny pack on, but I did that once in a match, like randomly to a camera. I just started hip thrusting and people pop for it so hard. And I should probably do that again in a match sometime soon because people seem to like it. So maybe I'll bring my fanny pack out to the ring with me. We'll see.
There you go. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Now, you wrestling like with Mission Pro and all Thunder Rosa. What's it like? Because Thunder Rosa, she is so awesome. We've had her and her whole family on the show. Her son, husband, all that. They are so great and they're awesome. Like,
Yes.
yeah, what's it like? Wrestling for them. Over there in Texas and all that stuff. And have you ever come across the Chupacabra in Texas? I'm always curious about that stuff. Kind of scared of those
Uh,
kind of animals.
I haven't yet. I don't think. I
Okay.
don't.
Whew.
Not that I remember of. Honestly, Thunder Rosa and Mission Pro have made a world of difference in my life and my wrestling career. Um, she's just one of the good ones, man. She loves professional wrestling. She loves women in professional wrestling, and she's very, very passionate about making sure that women's wrestling gets more exposure. And she's done a tremendous job. Her and her whole family have done a crazy, tremendous job of doing that with Mission Pro. And the people that she has collected to be a part of the Mission Pro family, whether they're behind the scenes or in the ring, they're all just wonderful, hardworking, tremendous people. Every single time I go there, it's just such a lovely and positive experience. And I know I sound like I'm just like, spitting out nice, but it's honestly it's the purest answer I can give. It's so incredibly true because like I mean like we always have meetings like just lifting each other up, reminding each other like, hey, like let's put on a great show and let's show people exactly what women's wrestling can do and how it is a draw and how every single match is gonna tear the house down. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they're
Mhm.
very and if you notice, like they're starting to build a main roster, but they're still constantly bringing in new people so they can get exposure, so they can get an opportunity and a chance And I think Mission Pro is slowly but surely becoming one of those big promotions that a lot of people are going to talk about, and that is because of Thunder Rosa, her family, and Mel. Um,
Oh, I think you cut out.
Go away. Yeah,
Oh,
no.
oh, there you
So
go.
it's I've always been when no matter where I go in wrestling locker room, I always try to be the girl in the locker room that everybody feels like they can turn to, that there's no hidden agenda, there's no sneakiness or anything. Like, we're all just here, we're all going through the same journey, we're working really hard, we're going through the same stresses and trials and tribulations to find success in professional wrestling. And I've always had to try the attitude where it's like people can feel like they can confide in me or come to me and know that I'll be there for them and help them out. And that's exactly what Mission Pro does. It's just a phenomenal locker room, and it's a great place to work at. And they're very open. Like, they give us a lot of room to be creative and come up with our own ideas. Um, and so when Thunder asked me like if I wanted to keep coming, I was like, absolutely, because you guys have something very, very magical. And now we're getting, like I said earlier in the show, I said now we're getting to see a lot of other women's promotions, and I truly believe that's all stemming from Mission Pro. They started a wildfire in professional wrestling.
That's right. Yeah, I would kind of
Oh,
agree with that because you heard about Mission Pro and then Thunder
I
Rosa
I
doing
can't
that, and
hear
next thing
you.
you know, bam, bam, bam. Oh, my bad. Are you good now?
I don't know. Maybe
Can
my
you hear me?
headphones went out.
Uh-oh.
Let me switch. Let me switch.
Sometimes that happens. I use the earbuds and they'll go out sometimes. Then I just switch to the plug.
Hold on.
Oh, it's all good. Do your thing.
This happened
Uh,
before.
oh yeah, it's all good.
Say
Can
something?
you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
No, I can't hear you. What the heck?
No. Mm, darn it.
I don't know. Maybe it's me. Let me look.
Mm-hmm. Dang it. Dang it.
Hello?
Hola. Can you hear me now?
No.
No.
What in the heck happened?
It
Oh, we'll
happens,
get it.
everybody.
Technical
It's life.
difficulties.
It's
Yeah.
life. Yeah.
This is so weird.
Yeah, that stinks. Mm-mm-mm. It's like
It's saying that my
modern
mic is on,
technology.
but for some reason I can't hear you guys.
Hmm.
I'm sorry.
I don't know what happened. Oh man.
What in the world? I wonder if
uh,
it's because that person called me. I wonder if that messed up the. Yeah. Oh my gosh. This is so weird. This
it
has never
might
happened to me before.
have to reset or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
I have to X out or whatever.
let me leave and try to come back in and see if that fixes it. Give me 1 second.
Sounds good. Oh, yeah, them things happen.
Yeah. It's live media. It
Yeah.
happens to WB and everybody. So
Hmm.
trust me.
Yeah. My dogs are over there causing a disturbance. I had to go break it up.
Yeah. But CCW, man. Hey, you yourself, you're making your debut this weekend. No mistakes.
Hmm.
I think she's back.
Yeah, man.
Yep. Here we go.
I can hear you. Yay!
Sweet.
I'm sorry about that,
Hey,
Woohoo!
welcome
guys.
back.
Oh no, that's all good. Yeah, so yeah, we were talking about Thunder Rose and stuff, all that. Yeah, okay, yeah, yeah,
Yes, and
okay,
how
yeah. So
wonderful
we
she
got that.
is.
Oh yeah, she's awesome. So I do want to ask, yesterday was Halloween. How was your Halloween? Did you have a good Halloween? Did you go? Did you dress up? Did you visit anything? Did you hand out candy?
I did nothing. I
Oh, nice.
I had a show in Washington. I
Hmm.
flew home from that, and then I went
Mm.
and I got there's a place that my boyfriend and I go to every single time I get home from a show. It's called Pincho Factory. We
Mm.
get a burger from there, and then there's a place next door to it called Yo Nuts, which is the most like bougie ass donut place in Florida. So we got burgers and fries, and we got donuts, and then I went home. I ate food all day, and I laid in bed, and I barely moved. So we had candy. We were ready to hand out candy, but our neighborhood is not really like filled with a lot of kids, so nobody ended up showing up. So we got all these Reese's, and I don't know what I'm gonna do with them. Just kidding. I'm
Mm.
gonna eat them all.
That's right. That's how I am. Yeah, I live out in the country, and yeah, I don't get a lot of trick or treaters, but once in a while they'll come up. So I always try to make sure I'm prepared just in case. And yeah, I have some Hershey
Yep.
bars, and I have these. They're not Reese cups. They're like Reese's, but they're like shaped like a bell or a Halloween
Yeah.
thing type deal or whatever. It's like that. So I got those. So I guess I'm gonna have to put those away myself. So
Yeah. I mean, when I was a kid, my brothers and I used to like we never really got to go trick or treating because our parents weren't crazy about Halloween, but there was a couple years where they let us decorate our front porch for Halloween.
mm,
And there was one year, it's particularly my favorite because we were just like so crazy with what we did. We had like those old 90s snowsuits,
hmm
and and so I'm from Ohio. So if you've ever been to Ohio in the fall, leaves everywhere, right? So we took these snowsuits, we stuffed them full of leaves. Then we put paint cans on top of them, like a head, and we put ski masks over the paint can, drew in like eyes and a mouth and stuff like that. And then my dad had these paintball guns in our shed that we like never like they didn't work anymore. So we had about we created pretty much essentially we created like this huge death scene on our front porch. So we had one guy sitting in like this beach chair across from another dude, and like they were both covered in blood, like they just had a shootout with each other. And then we had another thing where like a guy had this axe in his hand, and below him there was a bucket full of red Kool-Aid. And so like this one guy chopped the other guy's head off, right? So fun. And then we didn't do this to little kids, but anytime adults or like teenagers would come up to our porch, the last snowsuit that we had, we put a rope around it, and we had it hanging on the porch for my brother's bedroom. And anytime somebody would come over, we would drop it like the man was getting hanged and like scare the crap out of them. And
mm.
yeah, we went a little overboard with that. And then my parents never let us decorate the front porch again.
Oh man.
It was fun though. It was really fun. I just remember my brothers got so into it. Like my mom was just rolling her eyes the whole time. Like, you guys are too much. And we're just like, look, this is the first time you're letting us go all crazy like this. Like, just let us have some fun. It's great.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, my
Yeah.
parents, they never got into the Christmas Halloween spirit, decorated or anything. So I was like, I was actually kind of cool with the Christmas thing because I know if my dad was into that, I'd be the one climbing the roof, stapling the, lights and stuff. I'm up there and all. Like, yeah, it's like, oh, all right, yeah, I'm kind of glad.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Yeah, but other than that,
my mom liked Christmas and Thanksgiving were our big go-tos. We didn't really decorate the outside of the house, but we went crazy on the inside for sure.
now for Thanksgiving, I've been trying to get my mom for years to have like a Thanksgiving meatloaf or at least do a rotisserie chicken because
Ooh,
turkey. I'm not the biggest fan of turkey. That's why I only have it once a year at Thanksgiving. Unless it's like
that's
munch
fair.
meat or whatever. But yeah, yeah, and I guess there's a shortage of turkeys this year, so I'm like, this might be my year. We can finally start having Thanksgiving meatloaf or something. Something like yes. 'Cause I was talking to my dad, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm down with that. I don't like turkey once a year anyway, too, man. All WA
Yeah.
needs is the sides. Just get the sides. You know what I mean? And I'm good.
Yeah.
That's all
Not,
right.
not everybody's going to be a turkey fan. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, yeah, it's all good though. Now I gotta ask, are you a fan of spicy stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, you
Um,
are? Okay.
yeah, I love my hot sauce and I love my spices. There's actually a store in the mall near us that's like a hot sauce store. That's all it sells, and it has like the most ridiculous collection of hot sauces, like combinations you would never think of. There's one seasoning that we got. It's like this jalapeno steak butter seasoning,
Mhm.
and it sounds like a really weird combination, right? But it's so delicious. I put it on everything, whether no matter what
Mm.
kind of meat I'm cooking, I put it on. I put it on popcorn. I put it on everything.
Nice.
It's so good. You could probably mix it with something sweet, and it would actually strangely be
Oh,
delicious.
nice. Yeah, I
Yeah,
love I
it's
love hot sauce too. Yeah, I'm a hot sauce
yeah,
person
yeah.
too.
We
Now,
recently got a garlic one too. That one was really really
oh,
good.
okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. Now on Saturday, I'm bringing some hot stuff to the show because it was a couple months ago. I was talking with a wrestler, Grey Wolf, and he was like, he does his own hot sauces and stuff, and I'm like, look, my sister for Christmas, like past couple years, has got me these hot things. She's trying to kill me. Like,
Oh
the world's
no.
hottest this, world's hottest that, right? And he's like, oh, you gotta bring it. Last show I forgot to bring it. This show I'm going to remember to bring it. So
Hell yeah.
it has stuff like this, like look, the toe of Satan, like
Ooh.
stuff like there. Little Nitro, the world's hottest gummy bear.
Yeah. Ooh, that's interesting.
We got the world's hottest chocolate bar. Like.
See, I don't know if I would want to do that because then chocolate might be ruined for me, and that's like I like candy, but if I had to choose between candy and chocolate, I'd probably choose chocolate. I
Yeah,
love
and then
chocolate.
it's like, then you got these like chocolate things like Burn and Bliss. They're kind of
Hmm.
melted. They're kind of melted or whatever, but I think they
Okay.
still be hot. I'm gonna try and get somebody, on camera to do that or something. I'm gonna see if they'll do it. Somebody will do it.
We need to. What's that one show where they eat the wings while they interview each other?
Oh, yeah, Hot Ones, Hot Ones.
We need like a wrestling version of that show.
Oh
Like
yes.
you have wrestlers at the show, and like you do commentary while you eat hot stuff. Oh my gosh,
Hmm.
that'd be really funny because all of a sudden you'd be like so into the match, and then huh, I need a glass of milk. I need a glass of milk. That's
That's right.
funny.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to warn people first, be like, yeah, this stuff's real hot, because I don't want them to be like, and try to fight me afterwards, like, this thing was too hot, I'm burning at all ends. You're like, I told
They
you,
gotta sign a
my
consent
bad.
form. I gotta sign
Yeah,
a consent form.
sign that consent form. I need a bodyguard.
Yeah, but they should know what they're
Oh
getting
man,
themselves into.
there you go, there you go. I mean, if you see something like that, you should know better. You've seen the videos on YouTube and all that stuff,
Yeah.
because I did that one chip challenge, not last New Year's, the one before, and woo, yeah, man, yeah. For a couple days afterwards, if I burped, I tasted chemicals. It was just awful,
Uh,
Like, oh, yeah, but oh man. Luckily, it got out of my system like that night, so I didn't have to carry it around with me, for a couple days or anything. It was all out, so I was good. You know what I mean? So I was good. So I do got to ask though. Are you? I've seen some Star Wars stuff on your page and stuff. Are you a Star Wars fan? And if so,
oh
did you see the
yeah.
the Boba Fett trailer yet? I think they just released it like yesterday or today or
No, I
something
haven't.
for the
I have
show.
not been. I've been on the road, so when I'm on the road, I
Mm.
don't really see a lot of stuff. I just constantly am trying to stay awake. uh, no, I haven't. No, so it's funny because my dad grew me up on Star Trek, but my
Mm.
brothers raised me on Star Wars. And
Mm.
then in between all that, my dad and my brothers like DC and Marvel and all that stuff. So it depends on who I'm with, but I love Star Wars, and I think what they've been doing with like the new movies and all the
Mm.
series and stuff has just been so good. So
Oh yeah.
I'll have to go find the Boba Fett commercial because I'm excited for that.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was pretty good. Yeah, I was like, ooh, I'm getting kind of hyped for it. They're going back to, I guess, where Jabba the Hutt was. Like back over there. I'm like, ooh, okay, here we
Yeah,
go.
I love how they finally gave the rest of the movies like everybody had been craving, but now they're constantly going back and doing all these what's the word, the origin stories. I don't know why
Origin
that took
stories. There
me.
you go.
Yeah, like they're
Origin.
doing all the origin stories, which is really really cool. Um, yeah, I love it, and they've been doing a really good job on Marvel too. Like I don't know if you have like Disney Plus and you're watching all those shows, but uh like the Loki show and what was the other one I just watched? The WandaVision. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, those are so good. I love seeing that because if you read that stuff growing up, you know the stories, but like getting to see all the prequels and stuff like that, or the side stories, like the results of from what happens from the movies, is really really cool. And I'm actually started going back and I've because like they made it really easy for you on Disney Plus. They have a bunch of different
Hmm.
like categories, and so I found the category that says in order of story, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna go watch these movies in order of the history of Marvel
Hmm.
because I had to suffer like all of us. I had to suffer through them bouncing around and confusing the hell out of us, and me trying to remember what happened in the last movie and all that stuff. So that's actually like my traveling tradition, because it's a lot easier to download stuff on Disney Plus than it is like Netflix and stuff like that. So whenever I travel, instead of listening to music on airplanes, I download the next Marvel movie and I watch that while I fly. So that's my fun fact. When I go to wrestling shows, guys, that's what I do on my plane rides.
That's right. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
all into the Marvel stuff too. For the Spider-Man movie coming out. I think Eternals is this weekend. But I'm waiting for Spider-Man and Doctor Strange because that and the Loki, like that on Disney Plus and stuff. I'm like, oh yes, I'm ready
Yeah,
to
yeah.
see, what's his name, Andrew Garfield and all them, Tobey Maguire, supposedly, up in that multiverse. I'm
Supposedly.
like, ooh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm ready. I'm like, oh man, I'm kind of excited. Yeah, so oh yeah.
Yeah, when they first started making the Spider-Man movies back in, what was it, early 2000s?
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah.
that those movies always came out around my birthday, so that was always my birthday
Mm.
present myself. Is I would buy a ticket to the Spider-Man movie and I'd go watch it. So I love me some Spider-Man.
Oh man, that's
I don't
awesome.
care what people say. I liked Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, he's cool. I liked him.
People are so mean to him.
Yeah. Yeah, they only do that because of that third one where he, got the
Yeah.
venom juice in him. And he was like, like they're like, oh, come on, the man had awesome movies. You gonna call it the one part, a little 2 minute
Yeah.
clip? Oh, come on.
People always have something to complain about.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome, man. I would see. My birthday's in February. Nothing really comes out at that time, so I don't have those Marvel movies, to go see and stuff,
Yeah.
So I'm usually like,
It's
all
only
right,
it's twice a year that like the theaters go crazy and release stuff. It's May and December, I think.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, somewhere
All the
around
other
there.
movies that come out around then are just like the, hey, we hope you're excited about this. It's not until May or December they're like, hey, the ones that you've been really waiting for,
Mhm.
they're coming now.
Yeah. Yeah, cause movie theater stuff has changed, because I remember when I was younger, I used to just like walk the mall and be like, "Oh man, there's an awesome movie. I'll just go watch that." Now I got Netflix and all
Yeah.
this stuff now. No, yeah, it's like I remember going seeing Scary Movie 1 and 2, like when they came out multiple
Oh
times.
yeah.
Like the second one, like that dude with the hand when he came out, I fell out of the chair and was laughing for like 20 minutes, and I had to go back because I missed like the 20 minutes that I was laughing at because I was like, I could not believe that. Oh my gosh, like yeah. Oh man. So I do gotta ask, before I pass on back to Remy, do you have any, funny, road stories or stuff that's happened? Like maybe somebody forgot their gear. You have like, oh man, we got Frankenstein the gear. You take something from this person, da, da, da,
uh,
da, or something like that.
Funny road stories. I'm trying to think. It's not really a funny story. I just always like telling this story. The first time I ever got to ride in a car with Effie was like the coolest experience in the world, because he's got the most. First of all, it was like 2 a.m. and we were all super exhausted. So we all felt like we were like we were tripping. Like we were. It was that kind of exhaustion. We were just like, is this real life? Like what's going on right now? And we get in the car, and of course Effie is just like this huge ball of energy, and so he gets behind the wheel and he puts on his music, and I'm sitting there and I'm listening to his music, and I was like, you have the most cool, like crazy music collection. He sent me a message a long time ago with a list of the people that, because it was nothing like you would hear on the radio. It was all like eclectic, like weird sounding music, but it was strangely so cool and so beautiful. And I just remember being like, I don't know if I'm really tired right now or if I'm really into this, but I really need to know who these artists are. And so like I haven't been in a car with him in a really long time, so for all I know his music taste has completely changed, but it was really really fun. And ever since that moment, whenever I get in a car with people, I always love to see what kind of music they put on, because everybody like comes uh, from different states and backgrounds and neighborhoods and stuff like that, and we all grow up on different things, and yet we all somehow find our way into wrestling. So it's really cool to get in a car with a bunch of different people and just see like the stories you hear about like their childhood, and then getting to hear their music taste and discovering new artists that you never knew before. And it's really cool. It's a cool way to expand your knowledge of the world.
That's right. Yeah, because like Grammy was saying earlier and stuff and all. Yeah, I have a weird music taste too. Like earlier
Yeah.
today, I was listening to like WandaVision. I was listening to Agatha all along, because that song's awesome. I mean, like dun
Yeah.
dun 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 dun, dun, dun. Yeah, it's like I'm just mad she killed Sparky too. I didn't like that, but hey, she was Agatha.
Yeah. Like
So
like my brother Lucas, like you go on his iPhone, he's got like a bunch of video game music. He doesn't like he's got some rock bands and like rap and stuff, but the majority of his music is like stuff from Final Fantasy, like all
oh,
these
okay.
random yeah, like that's what gets him hyped. So it's crazy to see like all the different tastes that people have just depending on like what they went through in life or where they grew up. It's really really cool.
Yeah, I can see that because when I play video games and stuff, and sometimes the music hits like Halo, Final Fantasy, something like, oh yeah, I'm
Yeah.
into it. I'm into it, or like it'll make me cry and I'm sad, Yes, I've cried before
Yeah.
video games, it's all good, hey, yeah, I don't mind. So
The Final
yeah.
Fantasy
Oh
10
yeah, the
theme song
music.
always makes me cry. Like
Ooh.
it get I
Oh
don't know
man.
if I cry, but it always gets me teary eyed. Like the when Titus and Yuna like the finish of that game. Like every single time I see it, I'm like, he wasn't there the whole time. What? Like
That's
it's
right.
so sad.
Yeah, that's like on 7, when Ares gets killed and stuff, and I'm just like, oh man, even to this day, I played that game so many times, to this day, I'm
Yeah,
still like, oh, I don't want
I
to,
I
I
actually
dread
just
getting into
started
that part.
replaying it on my Switch. Uh,
Uh,
yeah, I got a Switch Lite, and I that was like one of the first games I bought.
mm.
It was one of my favorites. That and Final Fantasy VIII. Those two are my
Ooh,
favorites.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. My friend here, he'll say 8 is probably his favorite and all, and I'm like, I can't argue with that. I like, 6,
Yeah.
7, 8, or 4, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, those are real
It's just
good.
it was a great story. It was a great game. And
Hmm.
I feel like the graphics of Final Fantasy were really picked up with that game. And I mean they redid the game, so the graphics are even
Hmm.
cooler now. But at the time, like because I don't think anybody realized it until they went back and started playing like because even Final Fantasy 7, like the graphics between 7 and 8 are just a world of difference. And I think that was like the most it was the magic of the fact that the graphics were better and then the fact that it was a really good story. And I think that that's a lot of people's favorite Final Fantasy game.
Oh yeah. Now on 7, I remember my brother got the Knights Round on there, and I was like, yo. I don't know how he did it and stuff, man. He's like, "Oh, you got to breed all these chocobos and all this." I was like, I'm
Yeah.
good with that, I beat it without that, man. I think it's still on the memory card or whatever. So if anybody says something I fire up, oh yeah, that was me. I did that. You ain't got to worry about that.
uh,
So before I pass on back to Remy, I do want to say thank you for coming on the show and chatting with us. I had a blast. I wish you nothing but the positive things for you, your family, and all that stuff. And I hope you come away a winner on the 6th. And you go next step to that
hell
tournament.
yeah.
Winning that championship. I'm pulling for you.
Look, I'll leave it at this. It's called Battle of the Throne, and I'm the king. So I think this is destiny saying that,
Hmm.
I'm gonna win this tournament. I'm gonna be the first CCW champion.
That's right.
It's just fate. It's gonna happen.
That's right. That's right. Numero uno. That's you.
Numero uno. See.
That's right. That's right. So yeah. Yep. And I hope you have an awesome time on the 6th. You do your thing, and
Thank
I'll
you.
pass it back to Remy. And I hope you have an awesome day and all that good stuff.
You as well. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Kylan, thank you very much. On behalf of myself and Rob and our other co-host Kathy, who couldn't be here right now, we just gotta say thank you very much for giving us the opportunity. We're very grateful for it. We know you're a busy woman with AEW and your other appearances and whatnot, but we really appreciate it. I appreciate you taking time out just to shoot the breeze about wrestling and your career and so on. We definitely look forward to seeing you, in that ring on November 6th as well. We got a good. We have a very good feeling that we're gonna see some amazing stuff there.
Absolutely. It's gonna be an absolute killer show. And thank you again for having me, guys. It's always fun to get on these interviews and just talk about life, wrestling, and then get sidetracked and talk about other things too.
Yeah. I was supposed to ask you, did your brothers ever decide to get into the ring? Like, did any of them ever think about getting in there? Maybe joining the sister and being a brother sister duo and
It
whatnot.
was definitely a conversation we had. They were very much interested, but my brothers were in the military, right straight out of high school, and I think and it was right around the time where, you know, they were still fighting in Iraq and Afghanistan, all that stuff. And so they did a couple tours there. And I think by the time they got out of the military, their bodies were just aged and they couldn't, like the training that we had to do, they just couldn't handle it. Like their bodies were a little bit wrecked from that. And they had a lot of other interests too. They were definitely on the ride and the journey with me for a long time. They were a huge support system for me. Um, but eventually their own personal decision was just to be supportive and make sure that I did it. It would have been really cool though. We a brother sister faction. I don't know if that's ever. Yeah, that would be really really cool.
Yeah.
Maybe one day I'll bring him in.
What about your boyfriend? Does he wrestle?
He does. He does. Yeah. He wrestles under his ring name is TC Reed. He's the Florida Man. He's
Trevor Reed?
Yeah, that's my boyfriend.
I've heard of him. Tell him don't go too
really
far. We'll be looking to have him on the show.
Oh,
Trevor,
absolutely.
if you're watching, we coming for you, man. We want to hear your story. I think he was on AEW at one point, a couple of times. Yeah.
Yeah, he got the opportunity to do it twice. He wrestled Ricky Starks and Scorpio Sky.
Awesome.
I've learned a lot of my technical wrestling comes from him. I've spent the last 2 years just constantly learning from him. He studies so much wrestling and he knows so much stuff. It's ridiculous. I can't wait for him to get more exposure because I think the world needs to see what cool stuff he's capable of. So yeah, for sure. Let's get him on the show and get him talking because you think I'm fun to talk to? Wait until he starts bringing up all his wrestling stories and all the stuff that he watches. He knows a lot more about wrestling than I do for sure.
Yeah, your boyfriend looks like he is a technical genius. I definitely look forward to, we're definitely going to hit him up and have him on here. But before we shut down the show, Kilynn, where can fans find you on social media when they want to find out when your next appearance is, if they want to purchase merchandise, and where can bookers and promoters find you when they want to book you for their shows?
My Instagram and my Twitter are both under @Kilynn King. I do respond to messages when I see them. So if bookers or promoters want to message me on there, that's fine. But I also have an email, which is posted up on both of my profiles. And for merchandise, I do sell stuff at my shows usually. But if you're not able to make it or you want to have something before the show happens, you can go to fullygimmick.com. And I have a couple different t-shirt designs on there, as well as some like stickers and like bone cases and other fun merch there too. So fullygimmick.com, you just type in Kilynn King and my stuff's right there.
Awesome. So y'all definitely heard. Follow this woman, cop her merch. The king of professional wrestling. Definitely make sure you grab some merch and whatnot. Make sure you're following her. She's definitely one of those to watch for in 2022. And you can definitely see a lot of her on AEW and so on. So definitely make sure you're hitting that follow button on all the social media and whatnot. But with that being said, it's about time for us to shut down the show. But however, we will be back, as a matter of fact, in less than an hour with another pair of guests by the name of BFT, which is short for Blunt Force Trauma. I thought it stood for like best friends together or something, but when I saw Blunt Force Trauma, I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty gangster. But
they mean business, man.
We'll be having them on after we shut down this show, so y'all don't go too far. But Rob Bass, the Mel Gibson to my Danny Glover, the Eminem to my Royce the 5'9", the Sean Spencer to my Burton Guster, and the Charlie Haas to my Shelton Benjamin. Where can fans find you on social media when they want to talk wrestling or they want to find out when your next appearance is as a referee? And where can bookers and promoters find you when they want to book you for their shows?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at Rob_Bass82, and then Facebook, YouTube, Rob Bass.
Awesome. If you want to find me on social media, not that I have anything cool to say, you can find me on Twitter under @TheRemyBlue. You can also find me on Facebook under the alias Remy Blue. It's a picture of me at WrestleMania 28, so definitely add me on there. You can also find our podcast on Twitter and Instagram under @Ringside Society. We're also on Twitch under @Ringside Society 2019. That's one of our platforms that we stream from, and we also have a Facebook group, and that's another platform that we stream on. Just type in Ringside Society, and you'll find our group. Just join it there. And we're also on YouTube. Yes, we have a YouTube channel, which is another platform where we stream as well. So definitely check out our YouTube. Just type in Ringside Society. Once you see that sweet, oh my gosh, beautiful dark blue and light blue yin yang sign with the blue flames around it, that's us. Go ahead and subscribe to us. Don't personalize it. Subscribe to all because we got a lot more interesting videos coming up. And we're also now on Spotify. Yes, we made the announcement this morning, bright and early. As a matter of fact, more around midnight, that we are now on Spotify. So if you missed our season 1 and season 2 and some of our season 3 episodes from earlier on, we're still in season 3, by the way. Definitely check us out on Spotify. We have a lot of interesting interviews there as well. So yeah, just check us out. And we're also on Teespring, where we also sell Ringside Society merch. We have shirts, we have tank tops, we have hoodies. You know, it's hoodie season right now, so we have the Ringside Society hoodies ready for you, all different colors, and we also have coffee mugs for you. You know, your pumpkin spice lattes, or even your good old fashioned hot chocolate with marshmallows. So definitely check us out. All proceeds go back into keeping this show afloat. It doesn't go back into our pockets. But with that being said, we just want to thank everybody that tuned in tonight live. Really and truly appreciate it. Shout out to our mods, Alicia the Warrior Princess and Miss Jen and her mother, Miss Jen. Thank you very much for checking us out. Um, and yeah, with that being said, thank you very much for tuning in live. For those of y'all that are going to listen to us later on, thank you very much in advance. And to those of y'all that hate us, can't stand us, really and truly wish we would just go away, well, I'm sorry. But like myself at the Golden Corral and Rob Bass at Hershey Park at Pennsylvania, we're not going anywhere for a while.
They hate us because they ain't us.
And we ain't stopping. So with that being said, we just want to let everybody know that we understand that everybody and their grandparents and their parents have a podcast. But we're not your grandparents' podcast. We're not your parents' podcast. As a matter of fact, we're not just any podcast. Hey, yo, Rob Bass, one time for the mind, one time for the people, one time for the wrestling culture, and one time for the king of professional wrestling, the current GWA Women's Champion and Nightmare family member, Kilynn King. What type of podcast are we?
We're the Wrestling Fans Podcast.
Sorry, we're the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society, hashtag We Are Not the Same. And with that being said, we will be back in less than an hour with another amazing episode with some amazing guests. But until then, well, in the meantime, just stay safe, stay healthy, be excellent to each other, and party on, dudes. We out. Peace.
See y'all. Good night. Stay classy, Delaware.
Bye.